What's up, everyone? AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust with today's watch list and trading recap. So, here is the watch list, which I post every morning around 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. So, on the primary watch list, I had Ride, and which was trading on some news. And then I also had Wish and Roblox as continuations play because I felt they did move well yesterday. And then on the secondary, I had Run, which was a gapper, and on the gappers list, and FCell based on what I saw on the daily, and then Workhorse, XPEV, and DKNG DraftKings as continuation plays. So let's jump into the trades. I have to be honest. I really was not sure what the day was going to be like today, but it did turn out to be a pretty solid trading day. And the reason I wasn't sure was because I did feel it was a little difficult to find to put together a watch list I was 100% confident in. It just seemed as though the it seemed as though there was going to be a bit of a consolidation today, which as a momentum trader, it's is always makes for some difficult trading some days. So I definitely was going to be more cautious today. I wasn't going to I wasn't going to trade scared, but I definitely want to kind of pick my positions. And ultimately I think it worked out for the day. So the first trade I took today was on Roblox. You can see here on this 1 minute chart that there really wasn't much going on over here. For most of the pre-market, what happened was in the pre-market just before the open, you can see here that we started to get some movement. So it definitely caught my attention, and then obviously it was pushing up here. So that was interesting, and because of that, it was definitely one of the ones I was kind of focused on for the at the morning bell. And what happened is you can see here that this first 1 minute candle, it threw a large wick at the top and bottom. So I really wouldn't call this a doji, but to me, definitely, although it's a green candle, definitely, screamed kind of some sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? Indecision. Sorry. So and there was, at that time, it seemed as though there was a bit of a pretty evenly matched L2, meaning that there seemed to be some decent number of asks and bids on either side. So I wasn't sure what it was going to do, so I definitely waited. You can see that I didn't take a trade in the first minute, and I didn't take a trade in the second. Well, I would like to think that I would never take a trade in the first minute, although I've been guilty of that in the past. But ideally, I definitely don't want to get in prematurely in the first minute. I didn't get in on the second minute, but I did get in on the third minute here. You can see I went short, but let me just jump over here to the 5 minute chart, because what I was thinking here was on the 1 minute, I felt that you can see that here's the opening price, and this is pre-market. What is this? I think this is I think that's pre-market high. I'm not sure. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me just zoom out here a little bit. Sorry about that. I can't seem to gather whether or not that was pre-market high or pre-market. Oh, yes. Sorry. There it is. Okay. That was pre-market this level. Let me just zoom back in a bit. Okay. So, yes, this level, this red dotted line, this level was pre-market high. So I wanted to see it break below both of these levels before I thought about potentially taking it short as it started to look weaker. Like I said, because of that top wick and then this red candle here. And what gave me a little bit more confidence too was on the 5 minute chart here. Um, you can see that this is the first 5 minute candle. What was happened now? You can't tell because ultimately the candle finished red and really pushed down. But at the time when I was looking at the trade, it threw this big opening wick and it looked like an upside down hammer. So that gave me a little bit more confidence in the direction that it seemed Roblox was picking to go. So let me just get back here to the 1 minute. And so what I ended up doing, as I mentioned, I went short here as it broke below this pre-market high level. I set my stop loss at the top of this candle. So you can see the VPOC line here was around 1R for me, or just a little bit better than 1R. It pushed up a bit, but I felt pretty confident. And then you can see ultimately I got out at 2R here for a full 2R return on that trade. So that was exciting to start the day off at 2R. And then my next trade, I believe, was on Run. So Run was on my watch list, as if you remember, I mentioned. And you can see here that, sorry, I don't know what happened there. But anyways, Run made a pretty solid push up after a brief push down here right at the open. And it seemed to hit a little bit of resistance at this pre-market high level. And so you can see this engulfing red candle. And you can see that the VPOC line was right about here. So it kind of caught my attention. And you can see it pushed down into the 9 EMA. And I really wasn't sure at that point what direction it was going. So I stayed patient. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't want to rush into anything. You can see it pushed right back up on this candle here, but it wicked at the top right again at that pre-market high, and then another red engulfing candle. And now the only challenge here was that you can see that there was, decreasing volume here. So to be fair, I got into this trade, I think, because of where this volume was. I got in a little early. And unfortunately, so you can see I got in here and it did move in my direction and actually was about 3/4 of the way to my price target, which was just above the opening price over here. But unfortunately, and because it had already passed my 1R, what would have been 1R, I had moved my stop loss to break even. And you can see it aggressively on this 1 minute candle push right back up and stop me out at break even, which was a little bit unfortunate because had I waited a little bit, had I waited, let me just move the chart over here a little bit more. My stop loss on this trade was the 51.30, which was, so you can see 51.30 here, which is just above this pre-market high level, because I felt that if it pushed above this pre-market high, that this move would have been negated. But I did move it to break even, which I'm not disappointed with. I mean, that's just my strategy. Okay. So I'm trying to compile data to see, because I have this, scalping 2R all-out strategy. I'm trying to compile data on whether or not it is beneficial in the long run to be moving my break even to my stop loss to break even after surpassing 1R versus keeping it at the full 1R loss, even if it has moved pretty significant in my direction. I really don't know, because I think it's really 50-50 at this point. But the reason I say that is because reason why I'm on the fence, because you can see it never did hit my my true stop loss, and it eventually did hit my 2R price target. So this would have been a winning trade. But again, risk management, I feel, pretty much trumps all. And I didn't really lose anything on this trade. I think I lost $1 on some slippage. So I'm not overly disappointed with the trade. It's always hindsight's 2020, and it's easy to look back and say, oh yeah, look, it would have hit my price target. But with this aggressive push up, I probably would have felt at that time, oh my goodness, it's probably going to stop me out. Anyways, that was my second trade for the day. And then after that, just double check here. Yeah, that's right. So after that, I looked at AMD. Now, if you looked at my Twitter post, AMD wasn't on my original post, but I did add it to my watch list because in the pre-market, I realized, and I noticed that it really did start to push up. A lot of volume started to come in here just before the open. So it definitely seemed like it was going to be in play today, and that was on some news. So anyways, I did add AMD, and as it turns out, I took a couple trades on it. So let me just move over here just so I get all of this. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Okay, I'll try and get both trades in here. So anyways, you can see, well, let's zoom out. First, just so you can see, at the open, AMD really had an aggressive push up. And on these aggressive, I've said this a couple times before, on these aggressive moves up, I really don't look for full reversals unless it's absolutely screaming that it's going to do that. If anything, I feel that, or I know that I just look for potential pullbacks where my scalping strategy does seem to work. So, first area that caught my attention was right over here. It seemed to be stalling in what's obviously eventually became this VPOC line. And I was watching at this 8240 level, which was right here. I felt that if it broke below that, we had a lot of room to VWAP, and I felt that, okay, you know what, it could, and obviously to the 50 SMA, there was a lot of room. I thought that could be a good opportunity for a pullback, but particularly with this high volume spike after just prior to the consolidation, I was looking for that, but it didn't do that, which was fine. And I think that shows a little bit more maturity on my part in my development, because just a few months ago, I probably would have tried to get in right here and then get obviously lost money and got stopped out. But there were several factors I considered which didn't seem to shape up to me. As you can see, it did make another push up, and then it through this again, I can't call that a hammer, but a lot of volume came in on this candle. And then ideally, I wasn't watching it right at this time. Ideally, it would have been nice to take a quick scalp with a break below this candle with a stop loss at the top of this candle, which at the time was high of day, because I believe that move would have worked. Unfortunately, this I missed this aggressive engulfing candle on the way down, but I thought, okay, maybe this is some time for a slight pullback. So I let this the next candle wick up a bit, and when it pushed below the close of this engulfing candle, I went short. It did briefly move in my direction, but unfortunately, it came right back and took me out. Now, because this was, I felt I was really aggressive with my stop loss here. Normally, I would have liked. It's just this candle was so long, so I didn't want to put my stop loss at the top of this candle because it would have had to come all the way down here to take profit. But in any case, I'd moved the stop loss. It wasn't quite a full 1 hour loss on that, but obviously it was a loss nonetheless. As you can see, AMC continued to push upward. And But I was watching it because I felt that at some point it would get a little exhausted. Now I do want to point out that and I hope that as traders we're all developing like this. I Looking back, I probably would have lost a lot of money on this push up because first off, I would have been a little disappointed in this trade because I was quote unquote wrong, which it's horrible to look at to look that way as a trader. Sometimes positions don't work, but I probably would have taken several entries here trying to catch that pullback and be right and lost a ton of money. But as I matured, I didn't. I wanted to really wait for it to the price action to show me something. And you can see low volume here, so it wasn't really good. Then I saw this higher volume kick in here on this candle, and then I saw this again semi hammer candle, and it seemed to it's through this doji, so it seemed to get a little tired here. This again semi hammer candle did throw some volume, so it definitely had my attention there. I was watching the level 2, and it seemed to have on this move up, it had seemed to gobble up a lot of the a lot of the inventory on the higher end. There was more inventory on the upper end, but it was a little further out. So once it got a little tired here and I saw that the inventory got kind of gobbled up, I thought, okay, this might be a good time for this to do that pullback. So I watched it. I put a stop loss just above high a day here, which was the top of that candle at the time. And then as it pushed below that candle, I went short for a quick scalp. My my price target was right around, right around here. I think it was just below 83.10. You can see here there was a consolidation here, which I kind of got a little worried because this was so strong. So I ended up taking a 50% partial here at around 1.5 R. And I didn't know what it was going to do at that point. I was already up on the day, and I didn't want to miss out on, on this. So anyways, I took that partial, and then as you can see, it did push down a little bit more. I eventually got all out. Some people might say, well, you could have got a little bit more. Look, I believe that, if I'm always waiting to get the full move, I'm probably going to lose more times than not, because had I waited till here and thought, I probably would have thought, okay, I'll try to get a little bit more, but you can see how aggressively pushed up here, and I probably would have lost a lot of profit. So I prefer to get out, prior to where that full move is. Anyways, that trade definitely worked out for me, after this loss here. And that was it. 4 trades today. Let me just pull this over. So this was the P&L for the day. You can see the roadblocks. That was the 1 trade, 2R gain. I did have that slight, loss on AMD. That's why. And then this was not a full 2R gain because of the that partial, but definitely green. And this is that run trade where I was slightly red. So a total of just over 3R. So 3R basically for the day. A solid return on a day that I really wasn't I wasn't loving anything so much right at the open, but it definitely ended up working out for me, which is super cool. So let's quickly take a look at the journal here, and so here were the trades: 4 trades, 2R, that break even, slight loss, and then that final AMD trade there. You can see that, sorry, let me just, so here On the stats, what I'm really liking, because as I mentioned, my goal win rate was 50%, which is above that 40% target that I'm aiming for, and 4 trades on the day. So I definitely I feel good. I feel good about that. Positive. The week has been really solid so far, even after increasing my risk. And we're just going to continue to work on sticking to rules, staying disciplined, and keeping this momentum going. So thanks for tuning in. We will catch you on tomorrow's Watch List and Recap. Cheers.